The Last Supper, a pivotal event in Christian tradition, is described in the New Testament of the Bible, particularly in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. This meal took place on the eve of Jesus Christ's crucifixion during the Jewish festival of Passover. The Last Supper was a Passover meal shared by Jesus with his 12 disciples. It was held in an upper room in Jerusalem, a setting that symbolized both intimate fellowship and the fulfillment of prophetic traditions. Jesus used this occasion to institute the practice of communion, signifying his body and blood as a sacrifice for humanity's sins. During the meal, Jesus took bread, broke it, and distributed it to his disciples, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me." He then took a cup of wine, which he identified as the new covenant in my blood, instructing them to drink it in remembrance of him. This act established a ritual that Christians continue to observe, symbolizing Jesus' sacrifice and the new covenant between God and humanity. At the Last Supper, Jesus also foretold his betrayal by one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, who would later hand him over to the authorities. This moment highlighted the impending trials and suffering Jesus would face. The Last Supper was also a time for Jesus to impart final teachings to his disciples. He emphasized themes of love, service, and humility, notably washing his disciples' feet as an act of servitude and instructing them to love one another as he had loved them. The Last Supper holds profound spiritual and historical significance for Christians, symbolizing the sacrifice of Jesus and the establishment of the new covenant. It is a sacred event commemorated through the practice of communion, where believers reflect on Jesus' sacrifice and its impact on their faith. Given its deep religious significance, it is important to approach the Last Supper with reverence. Making light of or mocking this sacred event can be deeply offensive to those who hold it in high esteem. Respecting religious practices and traditions, especially those central to a faith, fosters understanding and respect among people of different beliefs.